Caddis Maximus here, this time with a little review of the Husky 1/4-inch extendable spinner handle. So this is a spinner handle. It has an extendable shank. This idea has become a little more common in the last few years. I've seen breaker bars or ratchets that do this extension handle thing. I will mention that it is indeed steel all the way through. So this steel sleeve actually goes all the way through the handle, which is a bonus. And the whole idea of these is it's just like a 1/4-inch spinner handle, although this has a huge screwdriver handle. Many times when I'm using 1/4-inch spinner handles, excuse me, I do like the handle itself to be, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to navigate, kind of like fits in the cup of my hand a little easier than something quite as bulky as this big old screwdriver handle. But they're trying to make space for this huge 6-inch long extension. We have a lock collar, various detents of the ball to drop into so it will lock in particular positions. And that's kind of the idea of this, and I do like it. I mean, one, because it is a through drive, so you can like break a fastener and then screwdriver it out. But for the convenience of just being able to use a handle and have it get whatever reach, particularly like automotive applications, working with hose clamps, that type of stuff, and various service applications where you just have the extension built into the handle versus having to attach one. So a long time ago I did review, I should mention that this does have a spring in the bottom of it. A long time ago I reviewed the Harbor Freight Pittsburgh, and it actually turns out that these are made by the same company, the very same tool, except for on the Husky it has a wobble tip, or on the Pittsburgh it's a straight tip. So I kind of liked the Pittsburgh, although the Pittsburgh does not have a spring in it, oddly enough. So the Husky is ever so slightly upgraded with the spring. I mean, even the front collars, these are definitely the same tool. But the difference, besides the spring, is the fact that the Pittsburgh is straight only, where once again the Husky has a wobble. So you can put it on there, and if you're using this in tight areas, it can clear, especially if you have like a fastener right against a flat surface. It just gives you a little bit of angle to be able to remove that fastener. Of course, with wobble extensions, they do have to machine out this little area, a little bit of a relief, which does make that square a little bit weaker. So if you're at an angle trying to break fasteners, you are a little bit more likely. I read a couple of reviews where that's what's happened with people, and I've read that, know that about wobble extensions in general, is just that relief area does weaken them. We can see that there's an additional little machine square, so the idea is that you can push the socket all the way on, and it will be held rigidly. And if you're trying to break a fastener, you would push it all the way on. That way you get just a more positive drive, be able to break the fastener and then pull it out a little bit. Of course, this design is a double-edged sword. One, it's nice to be able to push the socket on, to have it remain rigid, as well as breaking fasteners. But sometimes when you're working on stuff, you're trying to get the socket right into the right place. Instead of getting it onto the head of the bolt, it pushes itself into the rigid position, so sometimes it can be a frustration. But that's a trade-off, Damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you don't have that little recess, and you always have people just breaking fasteners with, just the wobble tip, and then it oftentimes will fail because this little machine down area probably only take 50 pounds of torque. So I just thought that was pretty neat and wanted to share with everybody that, even Harbor Freight now is buying tools from the same companies that manufacturers that many of the other stores are. So they're kind of, becoming less unique tools for each specific, like Home Depot or Harbor Freight. And many times they're just selling rebranded versions of really similar, although not exactly the same. We'll say the Husky is technically an upgraded version because of the spring and because of the wobble tip, although I kind of like having just a traditional straight tip on this Pittsburgh too. Anyway, that's it for the Husky extendable 1/4 inch spinner handle. Thought it was a neat option, and if you kind of like the Pittsburgh one from Harbor Freight, then this Husky one with the wobble tip be a nice addition to the collection. Anyway, thanks for watching.